Good morning, students. Today we're going to learn about mammals. And before we begin our lesson, we're going to use our KWL chart to talk about what we already know and what we hope to know. So if you'll go ahead and help me fill out this chart. What do you already know about mammals? Do you know anything about mammals? Okay, you know that mammals are animals. So write down animals. Anything else we know about mammals? But what kind of animals are mammals? I'm hearing a lot of different responses. It's okay if we don't know. We're just talking about what we know right now. So we know that mammals can be animals. What do we want to know? We want to know what kind of animals are mammals? Great. What kind of animals are mammals? Anybody else? Joey? Okay. Where do mammals live? Where do mammals live? Carter? Okay. You want to know what do mammals eat? Do mammals eat? Okay, great. I think those are great starting points as we begin our video that we're about to show on mammals. So if you will put your belongings away, we're going to go ahead and start the video. Now that we've watched the video on mammals, let's look at a couple of animals. What is the name of this animal? It's a lion, right? And when you look at this lion, what do you notice or see about this lion? It's big, right? Okay, it's a golden brown color, right? Okay, golden brown or golden. Has 4 legs. Good job. It looks mean. Okay. Or yeah, it looks mean. Okay. Anything else you notice about the lion? It has fur. Okay. Or hair. I'll say /hair. Where would you see a lion at? In a zoo? Okay. Where else could you see a lion? In a safari or in a jungle? Okay. Here goes the next animal. Who can tell me what these two animals are? Right, it's a dog and a cat. So I'm just going to put dog /cat. Okay. What do you notice about this dog and cat? You notice that they're friends. Okay. They're not chasing each other, I guess. Okay. What else? What can you tell me about the dog? Or the cat? Ashley? Okay. They have ears. Okay. Genevia? They have tails. What else do they have on them? Emily? They have hair or fur. Hair or fur, okay. And what? Oh, and where can you see a dog and a cat? Right, you can see them in your homes. You can see them outside, in a pet store. Good, great answers, guys. What about a giraffe? Where can you see a giraffe? You can see a giraffe, right, in the zoo. That's normally where you will see them. I guess you could also see them in plains lands. In plains lands where there's lots of trees. Sort of like, oh my goodness, like Africa maybe. But not in the, where there's trees, it's kind of dry, not necessarily hot like a desert, but in savanna land maybe. Okay, Great. So if you look at this giraffe, what do you notice about this giraffe? It's got spotted colors. What do you know about a giraffe? You know yes, it's tall. Has a tall neck. Anything else? A long neck. It does have a long neck. Or it's tall and, so I guess that's wrong. I was wrong. It's tall and it has a long neck. So glad you guys corrected me. Okay. This animal here. What is this animal? It's a polar bear. Polar bear, great. And what do you notice about the polar bear? The polar bear is white. Stands on four. Okay, stands on four. Anything else? What is white about the polar bear? Is it his skin, his fur? Right, it's his fur. Okay. And then your elephant. And the elephant. What do you notice about the elephant? It stands on four legs. Great. It's what? It's big. Okay. It has a long trunk. Right, it has tusks. Its feet are big too, right? Where would you see an elephant at? In a zoo. Okay. You would definitely see it in a zoo. And it has big ears. How did I miss that? I'm so sorry. Big ears. Okay. Now, do you think these animals are mammals? Yes? No? I see I have a couple of varied responses. It's okay. Let's talk about mammals and what we learned from the video that we just watched. Okay? So I'm going to move this chart. We're going to stick this just over here to the side. We'll revisit the KWL chart later. So what we've learned from the video was that, or when we're looking at these animals, that mammals must breathe air, they're warm-blooded, they have hair or fur, they're vertebrates, or they have backbones, like your spine, and they birth live babies, they take care of their babies, and they give their babies milk. So, if I'm looking to see or to recall to help later in deciding if an animal is a mammal, I'm going to create this graphic organizer that says mammals can, mammals have, and mammals are. And you guys are going to help me fill it out. So we know, looking at the character, if we look at these animals, our question is, do they have the characteristics of mammals? So we know that mammals can, what do they do? Can they have live babies or live births, or do they hatch eggs? Okay, right. Mammals can oh wait, let's take that back. I take that back. I'm sorry. That's going to be over here. Live births. Have live births. Sorry guys. Live births can have live births. So mammals do they breathe air? Do they not breathe? Do they breathe with their skin? How can you help me with this definition? So mammals can breathe air, and we know that they breathe air. Do they breathe air through their skin, their lungs, their feet? Lungs, good job. So we can say breathe air through their lungs. Through their lungs. Okay? Now, mammals are they warm-blooded or cold-blooded? Who remembers? Jackie? Right, they're warm-blooded. They are warm-blooded. And you remember the video says that they're warm-blooded because they can control their internal temperatures of their body. Okay? Now, we've mentioned that mammals have hair or fur. So I'll write that down here. So mammals have hair or fur, which we learned protects them in their environment. It protects them against the temperatures, the external temperatures in their environment, and it also helps protect them from predators. Sometimes their hair may help them camouflage into their environment. Okay? So we've also mentioned in the video that mammals are vertebrates. So in this column we would write down vertebrates. And who can tell me what a vertebrate is again? Luis? Yes, it means that they have a spine or a backbone. Okay? Mammals can take care of their babies. Take care of their babies. How do mammals take care of their babies? How do they take care of their babies? Who remembers what a kangaroo does? Jose? Yes. Kangaroos carry their babies in their pouches. Elephants can take care of their babies for 10 years. And when I say take care of their babies, you know, they keep them around them, they watch them. They don't carry them they don't have a pouch to carry them in like the kangaroo. Okay? How do moms and dads take care of their babies? Christopher? Right. They feed you, clothe you, make sure you have shelter. Good answer. Okay. And then mammals can give their babies milk. And that's one way of taking care of them too. But they give their babies milk. They produce milk to give to their babies. So these are the main characteristics of mammals. They can breathe air through their lungs, take care of their babies, and give their babies milk. Mammals have live births. They have hair or fur. And mammals are warm-blooded and vertebrates. Now, if we look at these animals here, do they meet those characteristics of mammals? We mentioned previously in our KWL chart, I'm sorry, not that chart, we've mentioned in the animal observations chart. Okay. So we've mentioned in the animals observations chart that as our physical observation that they have hair. The only ones we didn't mention having hair was the polar bear and the elephant. Does the polar bear have hair? Yes. Does the elephant have hair? Do you know? Yes, it does. It does. Leanne, you said you didn't think the elephant had hair. And that's very true. From this picture, you can't really see the hair, but the elephant does have hair. It's really tiny. If you see the elephant in person at the zoo, you would notice it. But in this picture, you can't see it. But they do have tiny little hairs, especially at the top of their heads. They do have some hair. As they get older, they're like people. They start to lose their hair, but they do have hair. So you guys have said it correctly. So if these animals meet these characteristics, are they mammals? Yes. Great job. Great job. So we're going to break off into small groups. But before we break off into small groups, I want to discuss the activity that you're going to do. So we've just determined that these animals are mammals. But let's go over a couple of more just to confirm whether we can use our mammals graphic organizer to help us determine if that animal is a mammal or not. I have in my hand, what is that? Right, it's a dog. So what do we know about dogs? Or we just talked about dogs. Is this a mammal or not? Yes, it's a mammal. Good job. Now I have a bird. Is a bird a mammal? Does it meet any of these characteristics of what we know about birds? Let's really look at what we can see from our eyes. We notice that the bird has what? Feathers. Feathers. But that's not the same thing as hair, right? Right. So the bird is not a mammal. Not a mammal. And then we have a squirrel. What do you notice about this squirrel? It has a tail, yes. But does it have hair? That's really a main characteristic that we're looking at. Yes, it has fur. It has fur. So it would be a mammal. Good job. And the last example I have for you is a snake. Does a snake have hair or fur? No. So it would be not a mammal. Good job. What you're going to do in your group activity is similar to what I just went over with you. At each group table, you have a poster. And that poster is labeled as, you'll see two columns on your poster. It says these are mammals and these are not mammals. So for instance, we had talked about how the bird was not a mammal. So you would put the bird into the these are not mammals column. And you would take, for instance, the dog that we just mentioned right here, and you would place that into the these are mammals. So your group members are going to work on sorting the animals that you have at your tables into those columns. Now you're not going to glue the animals into those columns until I visit with you to make sure that we have them in the correct columns, okay? And then after group activity has concluded, we're going to go back to our desk and we're going to work on an independent activity. With the independent activity, you're going to open up your science journals, and we can discuss this at a later time as well. But in your science journal, we're going to refer to this graphic organizer that we created. And you're going to title your journal entry as mammals with today's date. And then you're going to write 3 sentences. You'll start them off with the number 1, mammals can, mammals have, and mammals are. And you're going to complete those sentences. And then when you're done with those sentences, you can create or draw a picture of a mammal. It can be any mammal of your choosing, and you'll draw a picture of your mammal. And then later we'll come back together as a class, and you will have the opportunity to share your journal entries, whether it's the sentences you wrote or the picture you drew. It's going to be up to you, and then we'll play a Kahoot game at the end, okay? So if you are ready, go ahead and break out into your groups, and I will be visiting you shortly.